The stories you are about to hear are based on the lives of people living with HIV in Canada who have been charged, prosecuted, or threatened with charges for allegedly not telling a sexual partner about their HIV status. These stories are real, compiled by Alex McClelland in his PhD research at Concordia University, and they may be difficult to hear. Some of the quotes have been edited and condensed. We ask that you sit back, close your eyes, and listen to the impact of HIV criminalization in Canada.
My name is Michael. I'm in my late 20s.
I'm Rachel. I'm 35.
I'm Lenore, and I'm 22.
My name is Lawrence. I'm 46.
I wasn't feeling myself, and so I went to get tested. That's when I found out I was HIV positive. I told my partner everything. We talked to a doctor, talked to a counselor, and we moved forward.
I found out I was positive after going to the Native Health Center to get tested. That's when I found out.
I met this guy, and things immediately took off. Things got serious, but I didn't know how to tell him I was positive.
I had a rough life growing up. I started selling sex when I was really young, was sexually assaulted when I was 8. Life has been an uphill battle.
About 5 months in, my partner went for an HIV test, and it came back positive. I told him about my status. He told me to leave. I was distraught. I took a bunch of pills and ended up in a psychiatric facility. When I was there, he came to see me and told me that he was going to press charges unless I paid him a crazy amount of money. I had no idea what to do. The next thing I knew, I was taken into custody.
My social worker called me. They'd gotten a call from the RCMP. I had to go to the station, and when I got there, they told me I was under arrest. They read me my rights, and I was taken into an interrogation room.
I was working downtown and was caught in a sting operation. An undercover officer approached me and tried to get me to say that I would have sex without protection. The officer took me to his car, an undercover car, and started going through my things. I had condoms with me, but it didn't matter. A little while later, the cops came to my house to arrest me and told me I was charged with aggravated sexual assault.
I was in the hospital with the mother of my child. She was having an ultrasound, and I was in the lobby waiting. These 2 police officers came and asked me who I was. I told them, and they told me I needed to go with them. They put me in handcuffs, but wouldn't even tell me what was going on.
I was treated like dirt in custody. Officers refused to touch me. They acted like they were going to get HIV just from touching me. They'd put on layers of gloves in front of me. My face was all over the news. People were encouraged to come forward and testify against me.
The cops were so rude to me, but I'm not a white man, so I don't want to say much. I was taken to an interrogation room. I don't know what happened to me. I passed out. When I came to, nobody was there to help me. I was on the ground and I was in pain. They beat me up. After a while, they came back and said it didn't matter that I was hurting. They just continued on with the interview. The whole time, the police's attitude toward me was, "Be careful, he's HIV positive," even though I was undetectable. They had no clue.
My name and picture were everywhere, all over the news. I thought I was innocent until proven guilty.
The next thing I knew, I was taken into custody. Public health gave me all kinds of restrictions. My charges were elevated to aggravated sexual assault, and I was charged with attempted murder. I was denied bail, and my first night I was given nothing. No food, no water, and none of my medication.
My lawyer didn't know anything about HIV before taking on my case. He really learned quickly. I pled not guilty. The Crown attorney kept asking if I infected my partner, and my lawyer had a hard time fighting it. The judge had no clue what was going on. Nobody did. My trial felt like a train wreck. It felt like the whole system was against me. There's a lot of racism that exists towards Indigenous people. They threw out testimony that would have helped me. It was awful.
My lawyer took my case pro bono because it was high profile. I don't think she did enough. She didn't fight for me. She rushed things and got me to take a plea deal. I was scared. The Crown wanted 8 years, so I took a deal for 3 so I wouldn't miss my kids for so long. I was so scared.
I pled guilty. They told me my case was black and white, so I told my lawyer this was easier. I wanted to save time, save money, and save my health. They wanted to give me 8 to 10 years. I pled down and got 3, and the attempted murder charge was lifted.
I was denied bail. Before my trial even started, I was sent to a correctional facility. I did 18 months in remand before I even went to trial, and when I did, my lawyer was awful. He didn't know my case. He knew nothing about HIV. He didn't bring anything up about my viral load being undetectable. I had to appeal my case, and it wasn't until then that the Crown hired an expert to look at my file and realized they shouldn't go forward with the case because I was undetectable.
I went to federal prison. I was in maximum security because of my charges.
The correctional officers, they disclosed my charge to people in the prison. I got beat up, and they had to put me in protective custody. I was in with all kinds of sex offenders, murderers. They found out my charges too, and they beat me up. I never fought a day in my life. I had to be moved to segregation. I spent 23 and a half hours a day in a cell by myself.
While I was inside, I missed the birth of my daughter and the death of my uncle who raised me. That was hard.
We were expecting community service, and I got a sentence of 2.5 years. I didn't feel I was guilty of anything. I'm just another drunk Indian girl who got raped. No one cares about me. I was given the option of being put in general population or being alone. I chose to be alone. They took all my clothes. There were only male guards. I was naked, alone in a room with male guards watching me. I didn't feel safe. I've been raped and molested. I couldn't calm down.
I had a hard time getting my medication in prison. They didn't understand that I needed it. The guards knew my charges. They treated me like I was dirty. They only touched me with gloves and would always use hand sanitizer after touching me. It was so uncomfortable.
After I won my appeal, the media didn't report it. They didn't care. All people knew were my charges. I almost got killed. Some guys knew my status and ganged up on me. They said I was spreading HIV.
When I got out, I was on probation. I had to register as a sex offender. It's hard to travel, hard to find a job. I can't be around kids without supervision. And it's hard because I want to spend time with my nieces and nephews.
I did my time. It's been hard. Finding jobs was tough. I'd have really great interviews, and then they'd do a background check and never call me back.
I'm a registered sex offender. I don't feel like I belong there. I'm there because of HIV. The guidance counselor at my kid's school would love to have me volunteer, but I can't.
I'm just getting my life restarted again. I'm doing some freelance bartending, working for myself. It's finally going well. I'm slowly getting back relationship-wise.
I'm optimistic. I want to go to school, to college. I think I want to be a mechanical engineer. I've always liked machines.
I just started a new job. I'm trying to get off income assistance. I want to be a hairdresser. That's my goal. One day I'd like to rent or own a condo.
I miss working with kids. That's my passion, but I can't. It's hard. I didn't assault anybody. If anything, I was the one assaulted.
People living with HIV in Canada live under the constant threat of stigma, discrimination, and, perhaps most frightening, criminalization. Unfortunately, Canada is a world leader in prosecuting people living with HIV. But behind these numbers are real people, human beings, who are our mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, friends, and colleagues. Unjust criminalization must end. Lives are being devastated.